Okay, it is 7:02, and I am going to call the January 17, 2023 meeting, the first meeting of the new year of the Altadena Town Council to order. Okay, we're gonna have a change in the flag salute, because we want to start on time and, and get through our agenda. Okay, so can we all just stand, face the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Okay, 1.2 on the agenda is swearing in Rod Bryce, Lieutenant Dion Battee. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, please raise your right hand. Please respond by saying I do. Do you accept the position bestowed upon you by the voters of Altadena and pledge to faithfully execute all duties and responsibilities bestowed upon you on behalf of the community?
I do.
Do you pledge to uphold the Altadena Town Council's bylaws and ethical standards during your term in office?
I do.
Congratulations, you are now officially members of the Altadena Town Council.
Thank you.
And if I can, let everyone know about on Friday, January 20th, the Sheriff Department will have the coffee with the captain over at the Altadena Community Garden. We welcome everyone to come out. And I just want to let you guys know we had a event over at the etching event over at the oh, sorry. It's my first time, so I'm so excited and anxious. Yeah.
That's okay, all right. That's okay, okay. He was on a roll, he was going. Okay, we're gonna have 1.3 roll call. Councilmember Wong?
Thank you, Chair Jones. Victoria Knapp.
Present.
Thank you, Billy Malone. Present. Nick Arnzen.
Present.
Dorothy Wong is here. Dr. Sandra Thomas.
Is excused.
Thank you. Chris O'Malley.
I'm here.
Thank you. Veronica Jones.
Here.
Thank you. Rod Bryce. Here. Thank you. Pat Sutherland. Here. Thank you. Alan Peck.
Present.
Thank you. Reginald Wilkins.
Here.
Doug Cauliflower.
Here.
Thank you. Sylvia Vega.
Present.
And Diane Markison.
Here.
We have a quorum. Minus
Okay.
one.
Thank you. Okay, we move on to approve our January 17, 2023 meeting agenda. Councilmember Nat.
Good evening and Happy New Year, fellow town council members and community members, both here and watching online. There are agendas on the table at the back of the room, as well as public comment cards. The council welcomes input from the community on both agendized and non-agendized items. If you would like to make a public comment, please fill out the card located on the back table and give it to a council person on either end of the dais. While the council does not respond to public comment during the meeting, if you would like a response, please include contact information. There's a place at the bottom for a phone number or email address. I highly suggest you fill it out if you want someone from the council to contact you back. Council members, the Altadena Town Council Executive Committee met on Tuesday, January 10th to set the agenda for tonight's meeting. The agenda was circulated to you on Saturday, January 14th. I have a few changes. Please bear with me if you're in the audience. You'll note a number of changes to the agenda. I'll go through them as slowly as I can. First, let's correct the spelling of Lieutenant Battee's first name. It's Dion. You'll see that in two places where he's doing swearing in. both 1.2 and then down again at the bottom at 6.2.3. Second, we are going to move the CERT presentation to Section 3, Item 3.4, under Safety Reports. And we are going to move the Land Use Committee Report under number 6, Committee Reports. It will become Item 6.1. Under 6.1, the whole section moves up there. We have 6.11, we're adding action item in front of Historic Highlands so that you know we're taking a vote on this agenda item tonight. And under 6.11, we are adding 6.1.2, public comment. And we are moving safe streets to item 6.3. Are there any other changes? Councilmember Wong?
Sorry, I just got a last minute note, so can I add census tract report 460301? Thank you.
Yes.
So land use was its own section.
It was its own section, but we're moving, it should have been under committee reports all along, yeah. We set it up, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then we're going to add a census report under item 8, and that was for 460301. That'll become 9.3, 460301. Okay, hearing no other.
I have a question though.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're gonna have public comment before we vote on that item, right? Is that right? Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
Is that what you-
Yeah, so we'll do we'll run through the presentation of it, then we will have a motion, hopefully it'll be seconded, then we'll have
public comment.
discussion and
Okay.
public comment, and
Okay.
then we'll take a vote.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Okay. I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? We move forward with the agenda. Okay. And I just saw the Queen come in. I would just like to introduce her, come in. We did the flag salute, but I just want to let everybody know that Altadena has their own Queen. This is Queen. Come up, come up. Come to the podium.
Come on, Boya.
Okay. This is Bella Ballard, and she was queen for the Tournament of Roses for 2022. She's an Altadena resident, and I had wrote all the stuff you did, but it's so much. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. I've lived in Altadena my whole life. My parents and grandparents have lived here for a very long time. I'm a proud Altadena resident. I actually attend an online school because I've been playing soccer and traveling the world, hopefully being able to play in college and in a professional environment. In college, I'm especially interested in studying political science, business, and law. One of my top colleges is USC, so I'm looking forward to continuing that journey. The experience on the Royal Court has been absolutely amazing. I just came from an event, so apologies for being late. So we're still doing work, preparing for next year's court, next year's theme, and just still getting out into the community. So it's just an amazing opportunity to just help everyone and just be a big role model. So thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. We're proud to have a queen. And I wanted to tell Dr. Reggie she likes astronomy and astrophysics. So,
And so,
yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, okay. We want to give
We
you
have a little
some.
something for you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Yes.
Always the picture.
All right.
Look at these.
Thank you.
What do you call them when they run after the fan? I mean, the fan. No. Paparazzi. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna move on, and we've approved our agenda, and the next thing is number 2 on our agenda is the chairman's report. And I am the chairperson, and I am going to concede my time to the memory of Jamie Bisner. And we're going to have Councilmember Cauliflower tell us a little bit about Jamie.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's my honor and privilege to share a remembrance and celebrate the life of Jamie Bisner. I'm grateful to have known and worked with Jamie. He was a good friend and a mentor, and often a mentor. Jamie was born and raised in Altadena along with his father and his grandfather. His grandfather discovering Altadena in 1922. Jamie described Altadena as semi-rural community devoid of onerous regulations, onerous enforcement mechanisms, rules designed to generate revenue for municipal coffers via fines, and all those type burdens encountered in incorporated and planned communities. That's why I bought my first home here in 1984 for the simple, unencumbered life. Soon after purchasing his home here in Altadena, Jamie became active in community affairs and worked selflessly on many issues to maintain the unique character of our community that he found so endearing and cared deeply for. The short list of Jamie's community activities goes like this. Altadena Town Council from 1997 through 2015, representing Census Tract 4612. He served on the land use for 8 of those years and was chair for 2 of those years. He was a Sheriff's Support Group of Altadena board member since 2001. He became president in 2020 and remained in that position until shortly before his passing. He was a member of the LA County Sheriff's Volunteer Program since 1997. In 2006, Jamie was honored as the Altadena Citizen of the Year by the Altadena Chamber of Commerce. Jamie is also a member of the Altadena Community Center Advisory Board, which provides oversight for this building. Jamie, along with Bob Klomberg, Sam Estrada, some 27 years ago, founded the annual Altadena Summer Concert Series held at Farnsworth Park. Jamie and Bob co-produced the concerts through 2017 when they passed the reins to the Rotary Club of Altadena. Jamie's positions on some issues may have sparked some controversy, but I think there are few in the community who would doubt Jamie's motives, always for the betterment of Altadena. On behalf of our community, I want to extend to Jamie's wife, Colleen, our sincerest condolences and gratitude. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Jamie was instrumental in this building being here. So, thank you. Okay, so we move on to the vice chair's report. Councilmember Knapp.
Just briefly, I wanted to personally thank my fellow council members for hosting a very festive and well-attended holiday party. A special thank you to Rosebud Academy and to the PHS Jazz Band for their performances. And a big thank you to the soon-to-be-open Altadena Pizza Company and to Bloomfield Creamery for providing pizza and ice cream and for their partnership to the town council. Chair, that concludes my report.
Oh, thank you. That was short. Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to 2.3, recording secretary, Councilmember Arnzen.
Thank you, Chair. Before I move to approve the minutes, I just want to take a quick minute. I've witnessed the people around me be compassionate and passionate themselves about their community. And the tough times my family's gone through this past month, I got to witness that directly. And I feel like I'm surrounded by a family here. So I just wanted to appreciate publicly all of you looking out for me and your well wishes. The December 20th, 22 ATC meeting minutes were sent out to full council. I received and applied some name corrections as well as a clarification that the current executive committee was accepted by acclamation. Are there any more corrections? Seeing none, I motion to approve December 20th meeting minutes with said corrections.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Abstaining? Rod and Billy Malone.
Okay.
Okay.
Just because you weren't there.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing personal.
Okay, so, minutes are accepted as presented with those two abstaining. Okay, now we have the really big fun report, because we have
That's
lots
me.
of money. We
Oh,
have
man,
a
I
treasurer's
wouldn't-
report.
I'm not sure I'd go that far. But for the period beginning on December 1st and ending December 32nd, we began with a balance of $2,096.75. We had a cash deposit of $117, thanks entirely to the generosity of our good neighbors. We had withdrawals of $157.01, $139.13 for the full year of GoDaddy website hosting, saving us approximately $30 annually, and $17.88 for annual cybersecurity protection. We ended the period with $2,056.74. And while I've got the mic, I would like to remind everybody that this is a volunteer organization that depends entirely upon the generosity of Altadena residents for our budget to do the things that we do. We're old school here. We've got a can. So if you could find it in your heart to put $1 or $2 in the can, we'd all love you.
Okay, thank you. Moving
That
along.
concludes my report.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You were longer than Victoria, so I got confused. Okay, 2.5, our corresponding secretary, Councilmember Wong.
Thank you, Chair Jones. So it's January, everybody, and we're almost halfway through. So there's definitely been a lot of, actually the rain thwarted some of the events that have been happening. So don't forget to love our farmers market. On the I think it's on the 19th. Oh, no, I'm sorry, on the 21st, there's going to be a milkweed giveaway for those of you who are interested, again, at the Altadena Community Garden. And I just wanted to remind everybody, this is the Greater LA Homeless Count for Altadena on the 24th, and we have 50 volunteers max, and we've signed up 48, but it's never too late to sign up. So you can sign up at They Count Will You, and we'll be counting Altadena again on January 24th, Tuesday, starting at 8 p.m. So get involved if you can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. We're going to move on to item number 3, Public Safety, California Highway Patrol. Oh, he just walked in.
Perfect timing.
All right, Officer Keller, Officer Bay, and Officer Boyd.
No Officer Battee tonight.
Okay,
Just myself and Officer Boyd. Good evening, council members and members of the community. I'm Officer Keller with California Highway Patrol out of the Altadena station here. Your traffic report is as follows. There were 20 traffic collisions documented. 5 of those collisions included injuries to drivers or passengers. We only had 1 hit and run collision reported, and there was 2 DUI traffic collisions, and then the 1 fatal that occurred towards the beginning of December. Fatal is still under investigation, and if you guys have any inquiries, feel free to contact me.
okay, thank you for that. I have a question, because it's traffic safety has been a big issue lately, and I'm just wondering, we don't see California Highway Patrol on our streets. I see them on the freeways.
Yep.
Do you give tickets on our streets too?
Yes, we absolutely do. We're in constant contact with multiple members of the community that have concerns about speed, concerns about school zones, and myself and Officer Bay. We're starting a rotation between all the school areas that our office deals with. That being said, there's only 2 of us in about, 20 schools that we're
Okay.
working with.
Okay,
If you do have specific concerns, again, send me an email or call the office, and I'll be glad to speak with you and do some more enforcement for you.
okay, thank you. Go ahead, Pat.
Could I have your exact email, please?
Yes,
And the reason is that we kind of
didn't make contact a couple of months ago when I started back on the council.
Okay.
But the particular corner that is of concern is Woodbury and El Molino, where I personally was almost hit 3 times. And there was an accident on Christmas there where they had to haul the car away that was damaged. So I'd like to talk and get an opinion.
Of course. My email address is Jeremy, Jeremy, .Keller, Keller, @chp.ca.gov.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Wong.
Ms. Knapp also.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Those are too nice.
oh, sorry. Just I am anxiously excited, as I tend to get, but just to work on some pedestrian education, safety work at our schools and a variety of places. So
Yes, and I don't know if one of the members of the community reached out to you a couple of days ago regarding a neighborhood group effort. I hope she did.
thank you.
All right.
I just wanted to thank you and Officer Bay personally. I did reach out to you after the most recent Safe Streets Committee meeting. There was a lot of discussion about speeding on Altadena Drive, particularly on both sides of Allen Avenue. And within not even 24 hours of me sending the email, I know that Officer Bay was out, and he did respond back to me that he issued a number of citations. He was surprised at the number of speeders. No one in Altadena would be surprised, but I just think that for the time of day, it was a little bit surprising. So I do appreciate it. You guys are always responsive. To echo what Chair Jones said, and I think that it's a problem in Altadena. It's not your problem specifically, it's a budgetary problem, I know, but we are very cognizant of speeding now, and we don't have a traffic division like Pasadena has, where you have multiple motorcycle officers that are able to go out wherever they need to go. So I do encourage all of my council member friends to reach out specifically to you and to Officer Bay if you have a particular speed issue. Because they are very responsive, and they will get out there and they'll report back to you what the findings were.
That's it? Oh,
Into a smart app
Not
where
for
we can
CHP.
we can look at trending on where areas might have excessive issues.
Dorothy can help you with that.
Got it.
She got it. She can, right?
There's a variety of ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
She can help you with that.
CHP we don't have that information from CHP, but you get the information, or you can get the
She can
information.
get it. Okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Is that it? Okay. Oh, cards coming
Okay.
around.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. And I also, before you go, I want to tell you those toys. I don't know if I saw you guys, the leftover toys that were brought in, they went to Skid Row on Christmas Day. So, thank you. Thank you. There's actually kids on Skid Row. Yeah, that's sad. Okay, so we move on to our Sheriff's Department. Now, it's your turn, Lieutenant Battee.
Okay. How's everyone doing? I know I haven't seen you guys in a while, so thanks for having me. As I was saying before, some of the problems that we've had recently have been vehicle thefts, and some of the numbers are still up. So what we've done and what we're doing, we have been saturating the areas. We've reached out to a couple of our specialized units, and we've been saturating the areas in order to mitigate the issue of those. I strongly advise everyone, like Captain Williams said, please make sure you guys lock your vehicles. Don't leave your cell phones or computers or laptops in view out on the dashboard or the car seats. And we have, I can't get into specifics, but we do have more cars patrolling the areas to try to mitigate that problem. On Friday, January 20th, we'll be having at Altadena Community Garden, we'll be having coffee with the captain. Captain Williams should be back by then. On January 7th, that's going to be from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday, January 20th. On January 7th, we had a successful event. We've had some problems with the catalytic converters being stolen from vehicles, and we through an etching event where we etch the serial numbers of the vehicles onto the catalytic converters, and we were able to do over 300 vehicles. So that was a huge success, and we plan to do more in the future. So you guys can check out our social media for future events. And that's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any questions? No questions? You know you're on later too, right? Okay, all right.
Don't leave.
Don't. Okay, now we have Maria Grecken from Fire.
Good evening, everyone. For the month of December, there were a total of 388 responses in Altadena. We had 3 fires. We had an outside fire right in the area of Lake Avenue and Loma Alta Drive. There were no details available, so not really sure what it was, but there were no damages associated with it. On the 18th, we had a fire at a home on Mountain View Street, and it didn't cause any damage, thank goodness. But it's a reminder for those of you who have floor heaters, space heaters, anything that you're using to keep yourself warm. This fire was a rug that was on a floor heater, and the rug ignited. So just be really careful about flammable materials around floor heaters or space heaters. But they caught that in time, and it was just the rug. It was the only casualty there. On the 24th, there was a structure fire on Glen Rose Avenue, mostly outside. It did affect a little bit of the home. The occupants were displaced from the home because of all the smoke damage and water damage. But it was wood logs that were used for outside cooking, and they had a smoker, and the smoker caught fire, and it ignited the flammable materials that were close by to that. We had a couple of hazmat incidents with no damages. One was a gas leak, one was an oil spill, and then we had 3 instances of power lines down. We had 16 traffic collisions that we responded to, including one involving a person trapped, and it was the driver that was trapped in the vehicle, and they got him out, and then one versus pedestrian on Mendocino and Holliston in that area. Hopefully the major rains are behind us, but we are expecting some light rains in the next few days. But our safety tip of the month is about flooding. So we just want to be careful. Don't walk, swim, or drive through flood waters. And they say if you cannot see the pavement, then you really don't know how deep it is, and you shouldn't try to get through it. I have tons of pictures that I use in presentations of all the people who think they can make it through flooded waters, and they can't. So just be very careful about that. 6 inches of moving water can knock you down, and 1 foot of moving water can sweep your vehicle away. So just be careful. And that's it for me, unless there's any questions.
Are there any questions?
I just was going to say that the radios came in really handy with those
Did they go
warnings.
off?
Yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see those more again soon.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna set that up. I'm gonna set that up. Hopefully,
Maria.
hopefully in the beginning of February, I'll be able to get over to the senior center or somewhere and have a distribution. I know I've got to get more radios out there into the hands of people who need them. Still working on the Zone Haven.
Diane's gonna ask about the Zone Haven.
Diane's gonna ask about the
Okay.
Zone Haven. I need to work with Zone Haven and I need to work with Pasadena because it's their boundaries that I need to tweak.
Need to talk to Pasadena, I mean.
No.
So the deal is that half my census tract doesn't belong in Zone Haven at all.
No, it's in Zone Haven. It's just in a Pasadena zone.
But the
It's-
Pasadena Fire Department won't come for us and
But
Yeah.
that, we're going to fix it. It's not going to have any impact on responses or anything like that. It's not going to have any impact on that.
all right,
But we're going to fix the boundaries because they do need to be fixed. I mean, the boundaries do need to be accurate. We're going to fix it, but it does not affect anything about responses.
yeah, the only thing is those folks don't know what their zone is or how to activate that. So-
Right. Yeah, and
Okay.
before we go public, we're going to get that
Okay,
fixed.
all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And for all those that are here and don't know, the fire department is giving out hand radios, right? Emergency radios.
It's
correct?
their weather radios.
Okay, so-
They are weather radios, and they are used by NOAA, which is National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration or agency or something. And they primarily use them as weather alerts. They broadcast weather alerts. So if there's flash flooding or severe thunderstorms, the radio goes off and it'll tell you whereabouts that is happening. We are using those radios now in the event that there is a brush fire that is directly threatening a community where evacuations are either imminent or already in progress. We will be able to broadcast that over these weather radios to let people know the general area where the fire is and the area that's being evacuated, and then direct you to where you can get more information and stay on top of it and follow it and monitor it, because we're not going to put multiple announcements out over the radio. This thing is loud. The first time it goes off, it scares the bejesus out of you. It's loud. It needs to get your attention. It's loud, but so we're not gonna put a bunch of messages on it. And people will start ignoring them.
And they're free, and
They are
there's going to
free.
be training for it. Free.
Yeah, we had a training webinar that we now issue the URL for that training webinar if people want to go. They're pretty easy to use. The instructions are pretty easy. They're already pre-programmed for the channel that you need. So it's really just plug and play. You just plug them in, leave them plugged in. They go to sleep on their own, and then they wake up when an alert goes off.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
Chair, if I could add something to the corresponding secretary's report?
Okay, go ahead.
Just for the community to know, there will be a blood drive for Huntington Hospital at Altadena Town and Country Club next Tuesday, January 24th from 9 to 3:30. There's flyers on the back table. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, we're going to move on to CERT. We haven't heard from CERT in a while. Deb Haberstadt.
Hi, I'm Deb Halberstadt. Thank you, Maria, for the radios. The first test I heard on every Wednesday at 12 o'clock, it woke up my dogs, the neighbors. It is really loud, but it's wonderful because it alerted us to where the landslides and debris flows were in our foothill area. It told us about Santa Clara, it told us about Monrovia, so it was great. It was really great. Okay. For CERT, we went back to person-to-person meeting here at the Altadena Community Center in November. We didn't have a meeting in December because we had holiday break. And in January's meeting, we did NOAA radio sign up for More for Maria so that more CERT members would have them, and discussed the new fire extinguishers. New fire extinguishers, if you don't know about them, they're about as big as little PAM cans or oil cans, and then you can just push on them, take them right from your shelf, hopefully it's not by the stove, and spray the fire, and it goes right out in the pan. So if you want to look up fire extinguishers on Amazon, they're selling them all over the place, And one of our captains for the LA County Fire has already tried them, and he really likes them, and he especially recommends them for households that have children in them, because those big cans are really hard to handle, but these small little spray cans are very convenient. We handed out Red Cross flyers for power outage preparedness. We talked about FEMA suggestions on how to communicate during a disaster. Our next meeting is February 8th here at the Altadena Community Center at 5:30. We're planning a CERT training in 2023 to be here. So this year to be here in Altadena. It's going to take some while to put it together. We're going to have another Train the Trainer course in Altadena here also. In 2022, we had an information booth at the CTL opening, which was a huge success. We discussed terrorism also in 2022 that occurs in our daily lives. We helped to train the Sierra Madre CERT group, which is about the third time we've done that. So all of the foothill CERT groups all talk to one another. And then kind of a really innovative thing we did was we distributed bags with information to about 500 residents in Altadena that we deemed were the most susceptible to wildfire. And the Altadena Town Council helped us with that, the Altadena Sheriff's Company, the County Fire, all kinds of people helped us get these bags together. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback from it. I really haven't had anybody be negative about it. Anything else? Want to ask any questions? Chris?
Do you know because I'm on Amazon right now, do you know the brand name for those the little things?
No, they come several different, including, the big name, right? KIDDE makes them, but many other smaller brands are making them now. The little fire extinguishers.
KIDDE?
KIDDE is a kind of a famous one, but there are others. If you look them on Amazon, just look for small cans for fire extinguishers. And then recently, so this might be good for all of you that are having flooding issues, my neighbor bought an item that's called Quick Dam. Have you guys heard of Quick Dam? Wow, it's cool. So we don't have to deal with sandbags anymore. You buy these flat bags. You can also get them on Amazon, but they also are being sold actually on Quick Dam sites. They have a gel in them. They come flat. They come in many different lengths. You can put them up against your garage door, for instance, if that's often a place that floods, or back doors often flood. And then there's a gel in them that swells up and keeps the water from coming into the area that you want it to keep away from. And then you can dispose of them because they say, and I believe it, that it's all organic. So you can put it in our green waste. But a lot of people have lied to us about that over the years. But hopefully, anyway, you don't have to deal with sandbags right now. You can buy these Quick Dams. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Madam Chair, just real quick. I have a feeling the begging can got stuck somewhere. If you're holding it, if you could pass it along, please. That would be. Oh, is it back on the table? Never mind.
Maria.
Thank you, Maria.
It's full, right? Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to item 4, special presentation by ChapCare. Magdalena Prado.
Good evening, Chairperson and council members. I'm very happy to be here this evening. My name is Magdalena Prado, and I am the Community Outreach Liaison for ChapCare, and I work primarily in the Altadena and Pasadena area. I have a lot of information to share, and I know we all have to go to sleep at some point, so I'm going to try and be very brief. So with that, I would like to start on page 4, if I might. So, thank you again for the opportunity to come out here and share information about ChapCare, our services, health enrollment, as well as provide some community alerts. Over the course of the last few months, I've gotten to know a lot of folks in Altadena, and it's been a pleasure to serve. I especially enjoy the latest Christmas festivity. I really enjoyed being with the community at the lighting. It was such a success. Everyone, I'm just so tickled to be part of the community. Part of my experience, I've learned my job is supposedly to educate and inform people about CHAP care, but I think the opposite has been happening. I've learned a lot from the community about the value of CHAP care. So many people have given me information and shared stories about why they value CHAP care, and for that, I'm very grateful. CHAP care, as you know, has been in the community for over 25 years. We're going to be celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. And we are comprised of a network of federally qualified health centers. We started in the Northeast because there was a need for accessible and affordable health care, and we've grown over the last 25 years, and we have now 9 clinics throughout the San Gabriel Valley, 4 of which are in this region on Lake, Fair Oaks, Lincoln, and Del Mar. We're very proud that during the pandemic, we were able to stay open. And I've heard from so many of you that used the facilities on Lake to get COVID-19 tested. And that's good to know that we were of service. Let's see. I know that while many of you may not need the services that we provide at CHAP Care, as community leaders, as centers of information for so many people, I appreciate sharing this information because I know that you can share this information with your constituency. So I'm going to start on page 4. I wanted to just briefly touch upon Covered California, or I should say Medi-Cal, Covered California, and My Health LA. CHAP Care has a series of services before I get into that, which include prenatal care, pediatric care, optometry, family medicine, podiatry, dental, vision. We have telehealth, we have a pharmacy on Fair Oaks, as well as we provide free enrollment services. So again, if you have a constituency that needs help accessing My Health LA, Medi-Cal, or Covered California, that is a service that we provide for free, either in person or over the phone. So let me start. Page 4. As a function of the Affordable Care Act, we now have Covered California, and we have these 10 essential benefits that are part of our health care plans, both within Medi-Cal and within Covered California. And they are the ones that I've identified above: maternity care, rehabilitative care, pediatric care, mental and behavioral health, preventative and wellness, hospitalization, and so forth. I don't want to read them to you as they're all here above. But one of the things that's significant about the Affordable Care Act is that our children are now able to stay on our healthcare coverage until the age of 26. And the issue of pre-existing conditions is not something that we need to take note of when we're applying for Covered California. Let's see, the next slide. And so as a function of the Affordable Care Act, we now have Covered California, and we also have some expansions to Medi-Cal that reflect these 10 services that I've just noted. And if we could go to the next one. And this is just a chart of what we call the federal poverty level. So in the red box, you see the income designated in order to receive Medi-Cal, but in the next box, you see the incomes in order to qualify for subsidies under Covered California. Next slide. And so with the enhancement in services, with Medi-Cal and as a function of the Affordable Care Act, there have been some changes, which I noted. Children, of course, over the age of 19 can remain on your insurance. Eligibility is based on income at 138% of the federal poverty level. Adults now have access to dental benefits. There are qualified immigrant groups that are eligible: DACA, PRUCOL, Haitian and Cuban immigrants, as well as certain qualified aliens. Next slide. And these are some of the benefits that have been enhanced under Medi-Cal. The next slide. This is an important slide that I wanted to share. With the advent of COVID-19, there is what we call COVID-19 Medi-Cal for qualifying individuals. If you have no health insurance, if you are not eligible under any other Medi-Cal program, if you're a resident of California, regardless of your immigration status, you are eligible for what's called COVID-19 Medi-Cal. And that is good for up to 12 months for testing, for services, for treatment, and it includes hospitalization. Now, that is good for a 12-month period. So if you initiated that program last year, it will expire. Now, it will expire as well. If you haven't used it and you were to get COVID within the next couple of months, you can have it for 12 months. But after April 1st, which we anticipate will be the end of the public health emergency, this program will no longer exist. And so folks will need to transition from a COVID-19 Medi-Cal to a covered California plan. And again, ChapCare can provide you with enrollment assistance. And if we can go on to the next slide. How about the next slide? And Medi-Cal, again, unlike covered California, is available year-round, depending on whether or not you satisfy the criteria. And then the next slide. So covered California, the reason I wanted to be here tonight is because we're in what's called the enrollment period. So if you don't have insurance and you need to buy insurance, or you would like to buy insurance, you can do so until the end of the month. And again, ChapCare does provide enrollment assistance. Next slide. And these again are the income limits for covered California. So if you are a family of 5, you can still get assistance or some subsidies up to an income level of $129,000. Again, if you're a family of 5. Next slide. Under the Inflation Reduction Act, there have also been additional subsidies to help with those costs, and those will run through 2025. Next slide. These are some of the programs that you can buy under Covered California, including Kaiser, Blue Cross, Blue Shield. There are 9 programs, and as we noted, they must provide the 10 essential benefits. Beyond the 10 essential benefits, they try to differentiate themselves to be competitive. Some will offer what they call the Silver Sneakers program, where you get free gym membership and such. But it really behooves all of us to explore the services that they provide and that they're relevant. Next slide. And the next slide. And the next slide. And I just quickly glanced over dental and vision insurance because under Covered California, you can buy these services, but they're separate from the primary health insurance. And again, rates are determined by age, your zip code, the size of your home, your income, and again, the plan that you select. Next slide. This slide I thought was important. It's called the Family Glitch Fix. Up until last year, if buying health care was more expensive through your employer, you still couldn't buy Covered California. You had to go through your employer. If you were married, that was also, you were required to buy health insurance through your partner's plan. Or I should say Covered California didn't accommodate for that. That has been corrected. And now if you see the 9.12% threshold has been noted. So if your income, if the cost of your premium exceeds this threshold, you have the option of buying Covered California instead of buying insurance through your primary, through your company's health plan. Next slide. And a lot of people ask me about this question, about the penalty. The way that the exchange works is there is a penalty if you're not insured, and it is a 3-month duration. So you have to be insured for you have to have insurance for 9 months out of the year. So 3 months or less, you can be uninsured and not pay the penalty. And as noted on the slide, you can pay $800 per adult and $400 per dependent child. Some people would rather not buy insurance, and for whatever reason, it might be more profitable for them not to have insurance, but that really is a decision that everyone makes individually based on their needs. I'm sorry? You were doing such a good job and I didn't see you. Well, we can continue this conversation at a different meeting in the future. I do want to note that we do have the enrollment event coming up on the 28th at the Chap Care facility on Fair Oaks from 10 to 4. So if you have any additional questions and you wanted to meet with someone one-on-one, please come out or give us a call. I'd love the opportunity to speak to you and help out and be of service. Thank you so much, and I will exit stage left. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We do have a full agenda, so we do have to kind of push through. Okay, we're gonna move right along to our community reports. Parks and Rec, Ryan Hicks. And Ryan is new to us. Oh, it's not Ryan.
No, it's actually Guillermo Portillo. He's out for today. So just to give you a few updates, Loma Alta Park is actually going to be having a Lunar New Year event. It's going to be pretty new, including Farnsworth Park. So the lunar event is going to be taking place January 27th on Friday from 6 to 8. We're going to have some fun activities. We're going to do arts and crafts. We're going to have some different types of foods from Asian culture. Have a couple of prizes. So there's going to be a couple of activities there. But with Farnsworth, that one's actually going to take place on Saturday. So if you can't make it on the Friday one, it'll be on Saturday, February 4th. From 6 to 8 p.m. So similar to activities, we'll have some different historical aspects with regards to each Asian culture, okay? And then we are also gonna be celebrating Black History Month in the month of February. For Farnsworth, it's actually gonna be taking place February 9th from 6 to 8. We're still finalizing some details, but similar to Lunar New Year, we do want to have some historical aspects to it. There is gonna be food donated by Domino's and El Patron restaurant. And then we'll have a musical performance, guitar. And then we have a couple of special guest speakers and then a storyteller. So that's for the month of February at Farnsworth. And then also we have a couple of classes going on. So we do have our pre-ballet class, which take place every Wednesday, beginning March 8th through May 10th from 6:15 to 7 p.m. And then we have one for older kids. So the other one was for 3.5 to 6.5. And then the jazzy ballet class is for 7.5 years old to 11 years old. I will provide some flyers in the back in case anybody wants to take a picture or take a couple of flyers. They can. Okay? Sure.
Do you have a card, or can I get your name with spelling for our minutes?
Sure. I could just give you a sheet. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, are there any questions? No. Okay, we're gonna move on to the library. Nikki Winslow. Hi, Nikki.
All right, good evening, council members, members of the public. So it's good to see everyone. So my first slide is just wishing everyone a happy new year, if you want to go ahead. Can you believe it's already 2023? Time is just flying by. So I did want to let everyone know that before the next town council meeting, the library, both library buildings will be closed on Monday, February 20th in observance of President's Day. I also wanted to let everyone know that we are continuing to hire, lots of recruitments going on. We're going to be posting an adult services manager position, which is new to us. We haven't filled that position in a couple of years. That'll post tomorrow. And we also have a full-time library assistant position at the Bob Lucas Library available. Full descriptions can be found on the website at altadenalibrary.org/employment. And we're going to do first review of applications February 3rd. So building projects, always lots going on with us, the upcoming renovations of both libraries. Bob Lucas Library Design is still going through the conditional use permit process with LA County. We're full into the design process, and next step is going to be hiring a contractor. Optimistically, I'm hoping that work will start probably early summer or at some point during the summer, and we anticipate that taking about a year. Last week, we met with a group of Bob Lucas family members, original mural designers, and teachers, as well as Veronica, who represented town council, to discuss the wall mural at the Bob Lucas Library as a top priority as part of the project. Everybody came to consensus that we want to recreate the exact same mural. So that's going to be something that's done closer to the end of the project, but it was really great to talk to people that originally worked on it in 1999. I did bring some flyers, they're in the back, that we're gonna be having main library design town halls to discuss the main library. Or like right now it's schematics. We really wanna build in as much feedback from the public on the kinds of services, programs, and other offerings you'd like to see during the main library design. Those are going to be held on Saturday, January 28th at 2:30 p.m., as well as Tuesday, January 31st at 6:30 p.m. Both will be the same. It's not like you'd need to attend both. And we're offering it in a hybrid format. So for people that would rather attend virtually, all you have to do is go on the website and sign up, and you'll be sent the Zoom link, and you can participate virtually as well as in person. Both of those will be in the community room at the main library. So redistricting, really briefly, the Board of Trustees passed a resolution in June of 2019 to form 5 districts for future elections. We've been working with basically the only demographer in town, National Demographics Corporation, for the past few years to go through this process. There's going to be a web page on our website where you can use an interactive mapping tool to make suggestions about how you'd like to see the boundaries drawn. That we're going to have posted by next week. And we're required to have 4 public hearings about the districting process. The first will be next Monday, which is our regular board meeting at 5 p.m. There will be a presentation that outlines the entire process. And then, as you can see, there's some other meetings following that. And we'd love feedback on that as well. So our technology e-resource campaign for the month of January is for a new start in the new year. So we have Job Now, which provides practical tools to help you get a job, including resume review, online assistance, and more. And we also have another database called Skillshare that offers more than 35,000 videos on a variety of topics in English, Spanish, Mandarin, and 4 other languages. And all you need is an Altadena Library card number. Go on our website and you get free access to all of this, as well as many other resources. So a couple programs I really wanted to highlight. Our Fab Lab, also known as a makerspace in a lot of places, has reopened after being closed for basically since the beginning of the pandemic. We were able to get a grant from the Pasadena Community Foundation for $20,000 to purchase all new equipment for it. It's like our 3D printers were end of life, so we replaced those. We have sewing machines, we have all kinds of stuff. So we have consistent hours each week on Tuesdays from 5 to 8, as well as Saturdays from 1 to 4. And we do have a Fab Lab page on the website where you can get more information. And I'm really excited to announce that we have relaunched the Read Local, Shop Local, and launched that today, January 17th. When we first set up the program, we signed up 24 local businesses where you could take your library card into that business and get some type of discount. We've decided to change the program so that we can just really highlight the businesses themselves. And so you'll come to the library, get a rewards card, take that into the businesses, get it initialed, and then once you get 10, you can come back and get some cool library swag. So hope to get more businesses signed up and people involved. I have 10 seconds. Oh, Lord. Okay. Lots and lots of programs going on. The main ones that I think I would like to point out are that we are going to be celebrating Black History Month. There's many, many programs going on. It's almost one of the last slides, Dorothy. With our kickoff event on February the 4th at 7 p.m., the program's called Song Again, which is one of our poet laureates, Peter Harris, with guest poets and musicians, as well as many other programs in celebration of Black History Month. I also have a flyer about that in the back as well. All of the other programs I was going to touch on are on our page, on our events page on the website. So there you go. Hi. Yeah, you're welcome.
Diane has a question. Nikki?
We're happy to work with you. I just saw that you have a CSUP going, and I'm sure that has to come before the town council. So if you have somebody that you want us to work with, let me know, and we'll try to, make sure that we're coordinating.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We've been working really closely with Supervisor Barger's office, so I think we're getting it through as quickly as we can.
I think you got to come to the town council.
Okay. Thank you.
And so we're happy to help. That's what I'm saying.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Yeah. Okay.
No, thank you. Okay, Now we're going to have 5.3 Chamber of Commerce, Judy Matthews. And Judy was on town council for many years. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good evening, council and the community. It is my pleasure to provide the Altadena Chamber of Commerce report. The Chamber's 2023 calendar begins with Melodia Mariposa Chamber Music. How about that? On January 22nd, 7 p.m. at the Altadena Town and Country Club. Also, we have Lunar New Year celebration at Calesto Tea House, and that's also a wonderful way to start the new year. Due to the weather, Elliott Arts Tower Tour for January 14th has now been rescheduled to Friday, February 24th. And if you have any questions pertaining to that, please call 626-396-5680. The Chamber's Awards and Installation Dinner is Friday, and I'm sure most of you know about this, February 3rd at 6 p.m., again at Altadena Town and Country Club. The cost is $85 per person, and tickets may be purchased online at altadenachamber.org. Please check our website frequently as events are being added, addressing those programs most beneficial to our businesses, seniors, and the community at large. As president of the Altadena Chamber, I'm dedicated to advancing the Chamber's mission and to ensuring that our members have every opportunity to succeed with the support, services, and opportunities provided by the Chambers. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Any questions for Judy? No, I don't. Thank you. I know that the installation dinner, and to me, $85 sounds steep, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It really is. If you can go, you should go. Even if you just go one time, you really see Altadena at its glory at that event. So, and I love the Citizen of the Year and the Business of the Year. So, okay, so we're going to move on to our committee reports. And our first one, it's 6.1, is our land use item. And Diane Markison, the Chair of Land Use, is going to be presenting that item.
Thank you. We have Dean Edwards is here from the Department of Regional Planning, and he's going to talk high level about the Altadena Historic Highlands project. I told you 5 minutes, but he said that he's going to need a little bit longer than that, he said. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Dean Edwards. I work for the Department of Regional Planning. Thank you. Thanks a lot. This evening, I'll provide an overview of the proposed Historic Highlands District. Next slide, please. On January 22nd, 2008, the city of Pasadena designated the adjacent Pasadena portion of the neighborhood to the south as a Historic Highlands Landmark District. On May 1st of 2019, the Historic Highlands Neighborhood Association requested nomination fee relief from the county. In response, the county recommended that the Landmarks Commission nominate since there is no fee associated with their nomination. More than 50% of property owners must consent to designation. The neighborhood association's proposed district boundaries were drawn around properties with owner consent. Planning's consulting architectural historian recommended district boundaries that are legally defensible and that follow National Park Service guidance, which states that the boundaries should follow the track boundaries, excluding those areas with insufficient integrity. Just a moment here. Can you go back, please? So on this map, you can see the original boundaries, which are the light green, and the expanded boundaries, which are the boundaries that are for the proposed district. In dark green, to the south, that southern boundary is the city of Pasadena, and neighborhood to the south of that is currently a historic district. In those areas on either side, they're not included because they have lost historical integrity. So there's more alterations, demolitions, that kind of thing. With the expanded boundaries, the district includes 77 properties, with 78% of them being contributors that have characteristics and features that relate to the historic context and historic significance of the district. With the boundary expansion, there was insufficient owner consent, and therefore the nomination was delayed until sufficient consent was obtained. Next slide, please. Can you go to the public meetings? It should say public meetings. Oh, I see. Okay. On January 11, 2020, Planning hosted a community meeting about historic districts for the community of Altadena. Owners of the property located within the district were notified of the meeting. On August 23, 2021, the Landmarks Commission nominated the district. In preparation for the Landmarks Commission designation hearing, Planning held another public meeting for the district property owners on April 5, 2022. On September of last year, the Landmarks Commission recommended that the board designate the district because it meets the following criteria. More than 50% of property owners consented. The contributing structures are 50 years of age or older. The district is associated with events that have made a significant contribution to the broad patterns of the history of the county and the community of Altadena. Specifically, the area exemplifies the process of subdivision of orange groves into a bustling suburb during the economic boom of the 1920s. Additionally, the district embodies distinctive characteristics of historical architectural styles, specifically craftsman, various revival styles, minimal traditional, and ranch. You can see some of those styles on this slide. Lastly, the district exhibits a concentration of historic properties containing common character-defining features, which contribute to each other and are unified aesthetically by a significant geographical pattern, particularly the boundary of the original Pasadena Highlands tract. This case was presented to the Town Council's Land Use Committee on November 4th of last year, and again on January 3rd. On January 11th, the Regional Planning Commission recommended that the Board of Supervisors designate the district because it is consistent with the general plan and will be in the interest of public health, safety, and general welfare, and in conformity with good zoning practice. Next slide, please. Character-defining features are the materials, forms, location, spatial configurations, uses, and cultural associations or meanings that contribute to the historic character of a historic resource that must be retained to preserve that character. The character-defining features of the district are significant front yard setbacks, rhythm of spacing between buildings, mature shade trees on streets and in yards, 1 or 2 mid-scale residences, large lots with open space in proportion to the size of buildings, streets with varying presence of sidewalks, and lastly, the lack of high fencing or hedges in the front yards. Additionally, each architectural style has its own character-defining features that must be preserved. Next slide, please. The Certificate of Appropriateness, or C of A requirement, is the main provision of the Historic Preservation Ordinance that preserves county landmarks in historic districts. Since nomination of the district, C of As have been required to authorize exterior work, excluding maintenance and repair. The requirement will remain in effect if the district is designated. A C of A will not be required for painting or staining, landscaping, including replacing lawns with drought-tolerant plants, and removal or pruning of trees located in the rear yard. Additionally, solar energy equipment installation is currently not restricted due to state law, which limits local jurisdictions' regulation of the equipment. In terms of allowable work, generally what can be seen from the street must be preserved on contributors, and there is greater flexibility with those areas of the property that are not visible from the street. Additionally, new construction must be designed to be compatible with the contributors. And lastly, both appropriately designed additions and accessory dwelling units, including garage conversions, are allowed in the district. A C of A requires an application and fee, and a Landmarks Commission hearing is required for additions over 500 square feet. The fee for administrative C of A is $518, and the fee for a public hearing C of A is $1,104. Full disclosure there. There are no new development standards proposed for the district. However, the county has prepared draft work guidelines for landmarks and historic districts that are currently being reviewed by the public and the Landmarks Commission, who will continue their discussion of the item at their public meeting on January 27th. The district property owners were invited to comment on the guidelines. Since no comments from the owners have been received, the county intends to do additional outreach to the owners prior to the board adoption of the guidelines, and we'll be working with the town council on that. Next slide, please. That's not it. It should say historic district benefits. At the end there. Back up about 3. We're on the last slide. Yeah, go back one more. That's right. Although designation will continue to restrict work through the C of A requirement, there are some important benefits of becoming a historic district to be considered. First and foremost, designation preserves neighborhood character. And because it preserves neighborhood character, historic districts can have higher property values. Also, designation provides eligibility to the Mills Act program and to the State Historical Building Code. Lastly, historic districts are environmentally sustainable. The greenest building is the one that's already built in terms of greenhouse gas production and natural resource consumption related to new construction. Last slide, please. That concludes my presentation. Consulting architectural historian Carrie Chasteen and myself are available to answer any questions that you may have regarding this item.
Move forward, go ahead.
So I have a report from the Altadena Land Use Committee. Before I begin my report, it's important to note that, and be clear, that at no point has anybody on the town council said that they would say no, absolutely no to historical districts. That's not what is part of our message here. I think that's very important. Also, it's important to note that the creation of the Altadena Highlands Historic District is the first of its kind project for the county, and that the county is building its process as this develops. Both the residents and the town council have been affected by that sort of not well-defined process. The county's concerned only with ensuring that the area meets with the architectural requirements as stated of a historical designation, and that there are enough residents who have signed a consent form, with the percentage goal and the other qualifications that Dean just mentioned. However, the Altadena Town Council is concerned with ensuring that we get resident feedback, confirmation of their understanding of the project that we can then pass along. The Land Use Committee voted on January 4th to recommend that the Altadena Town Council send a letter to the Department of Regional Planning not supporting the Altadena Historic Highlands District project. The vote was 4 in favor, 3 against, and 4 abstentions. This breakdown of the vote is not typical of the Land Use Committee, but the due diligence that we completed by canvassing the neighbors did not seem to be an indication that over 50% of the residents supported the designation. Of the residents we spoke to, 14 were in support of the project, 9 were against, and 10 were not sure. In the course of our work, we also received 7 emails in support and 6 emails against. Please note, little aside here, that any emails that we have received or letters from any people, we will send down to the regional planning along with our letter so that they have that for the record. Because these results are inconclusive, we did some additional evaluation of the county communication process. and found that the residents may not have had the means to sufficiently review or question the details of how the designation project might impact their properties and make an informed decision to participate or to decline. We found that a public hearing was held on January 11th, 2020, where 27 people attended, and one on April 5th, 2022, where 8 people attended. The low turnout for these meetings also raised concern with the committee that the majority of residents did not have the opportunity to discuss and review the project. It was not until August of 2022 that a letter was sent to the residents with a link to the document titled Work Guidelines for Landmarks and Historic Districts, which provides the rules and restrictions of living in a historic district. The county did not receive any comments or questions regarding that guidelines document, which Dean mentioned earlier. This also suggests that many of the residents may not have been fully engaged in this project, which will have significant impact on their homes. Given the above referenced, by the way, the document that was signed by all the residents saying yes or no, I agree or disagree, was actually early on in the process and clearly before they got these restrictions. Given the reference lack of response to any of the county communications and results of the canvassing that we did, it's clear that other than the property owner consent form, which was signed early on in the process, there is no substantive indication that the residents truly understand the scope of living in a historical district. The ATC ordinarily has enough clarifying information from the residents to be able to provide feedback to the county as a recommendation. In this case, we do not. As a result, I recommend that the ATC not take the Land Use Committee recommendation regarding a letter of non-support. Instead, in the matter of the Altadena Historical Highlands District, I move that the ATC send a letter to the Department of Regional Planning indicating that the results of our research above show, which I already mentioned, show significant gaps in the county process, and recommending that the Department of Regional Planning, 1, finalize the work guidelines for landmarks and historic districts document, which is currently in draft form. Ensure that all residents have a copy of that document and have had sufficient time to read it and ask questions. Hold another public meeting prior to the project going to the Board of Supervisors, and that the Department of Regional Planning partner with the ATC to make personal contact with those residents so that the ATC is comfortable that they are all aware of the hearing and or public meeting and have an opportunity to make public comment and or ask questions, which will provide a clear result as to whether the residents support the creation of the historical district or not. Thank you.
Okay, we've had a motion and we've had it seconded. Now we're gonna have some discussion.
If anybody has any questions or comments here.
Anybody? No questions or comments?
Okay.
None.
So we'll
Okay.
call for public comment. I have only one public comment card, and that's from Michelle Zach. Yeah.
Yes.
That's great, thank you. 2 minutes, yeah.
Oh, here's some more.
I think there's some more. Oh, good
I
evening,
just don't have them, okay.
Town
Here
Council.
they come, okay. Oh.
Nice to be back here. I just wanted to say, as someone who's studied Altadena's history pretty extensively and written a history, that it's really a great leap forward. For LA County is one of the largest counties in the United States, and it took 165 years to have historic designation, have anything like that on the cards here. So that was not until 2015. And that this district that's being suggested is part of another district, as Dean mentioned. And I know people who've lived in the Pasadena side of the Pasadena Highlands. And it's a beautiful neighborhood with the values really have gone up. And I know people who've gone through the process. Of course, it's different there because it's Pasadena. But just that it's a real enhancement and it's a real message that that our historic resources are a big part of what makes Altadena special. So, I mean, I'm sure that everything that Diane said, that there might need to be more clarification, but I'm just hoping that people can get together on this really wonderful opportunity for Altadena to have the first historic district in LA County. Thank you.
Okay, I'm a little confused. LA County, so Pasadena is not part of LA County and other parts of LA?
Unincorporated LA County.
Unincorporated.
Unincorporated LA County.
Okay, so we need to make that
Yes,
distinction.
unincorporated LA County.
Okay.
It's the first in, yes.
Unincorporated, okay, okay.
Right, okay. Robert Bullock. The champion of all.
Well, we're trying. Let me introduce myself. My name is Robert Bullock, and I'm a resident of Altadena and a co-president with my partner David Anderson on Woodbury, and we're the co-presidents of the Altadena Historic District that we're trying to create. To me, in my mind, the question tonight for this council to review, does Altadena have any homes or neighborhood worth preserving and protecting? That's really what the question is. And it isn't about climate change or ending the homeless crisis. It's about protecting the history of Altadena. If we do nothing, then change will come. My partner and I lived 17 years in Glendale and in an old 1936 Spanish. We saw sections of our city being changed, mansions being brought up, and old homes being torn down. We fled Altadena 10 years ago, purchased a 1929 Spanish, love the neighborhood, love the homes, and east of us, toward Allen on New York, we began to see old homes being torn down and mansions been put up, and style of homes that we don't think bring quality to the neighborhood or a look of the neighborhood. So my partner and I said, what can we do to protect our neighborhood? Well, as someone mentioned earlier, 2/3 of historic Highlands is Pasadena. They've had historic protection since 2008. The county is coming up with rules and regs very similar to Pasadena. We're not recreating the wheel here. And I've also heard comments of how onerous the regulations are for the homeowners. Well, if that's the case, Pasadena has 23 historic districts. And since 2008, when Historic Highlands got theirs, 6 more districts have been created in Pasadena. And so the homeowners seem to think it's a good idea. We do too. We thank you for your support. We hope we get your support and look forward to a speedy resolution. Thank you.
Okay, Judy Rubin.
Can you call them all up so they're ready? They're lined up, they're queued up.
Yeah, Rob, Bruce, and Ginger Loesch.
Rob,
Loesch.
We're,
Judy? Yeah.
Yeah. We're very much in favor of the historic district in Altadena. And I live in part of the historic Highlands Altadena tract. And I know that Mr. Bullock and another gentleman came to our home and asked us if we agreed, and we did sign the petition, and we're very much for it. We lived in the 1924 Cyril Bennett designed home on Woodbury. However, we found out yesterday that the reason we haven't been invited to anything is that we're now not part of either the expanded or the original boundaries. And I really don't understand that, because for over 20 years, we were part of the historic Highlands neighborhood, which, as we understood the boundaries, were New York to the north, Washington to the south, Lake on the west side, and Hill on the east side. And now this whole area here is not part of the district. And I just wanted to have somebody explain that. And I don't understand why we weren't part of the original district, no less not part of the expanded district.
Okay, thank
That would be
you.
Dean.
Thank you very
Robert,
much.
maybe you can talk with her about that, or Dean? No, not right now, sort of offline. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, we don't have her on that address on our list, so I don't really understand either. Okay, Rob Bruce, sorry.
Good evening. My name is Rob Bruce, and I'm representing Velva Zavala, the chair of Altadena Heritage. She had another event this evening, and she asked me to stand in. We've prepared a letter. Unfortunately, it didn't get distributed. We will get that out to you as soon as possible, but I'll just quickly read it for you. On behalf of the Altadena Heritage Board of Directors, Val is writing to extend enthusiastic support and wholehearted recommendation of approval to Altadena's first historic district, the Historic Highlands. As preservation organization, Altadena Heritage has been advocating for preservation of our significant architectural resources since the early 1980s. It wasn't until just the last few years that Los Angeles County had an historic preservation ordinance for unincorporated areas to facilitate such preservation. We're very encouraged by this significant milestone. This ordinance doesn't facilitate frivolous designation of properties in ways that could infringe upon the rights of owners. Rather, it is justifiably strenuous, expensive, and time-consuming process, not to be taken lightly by the property owners who signed the application for designation. Reviewing the report of the Regional Planning Commission, we were very impressed on how well the district meets and exceeds the standards of designation. It's understandable that this process has taken years. This is the first application for designation since implementing the ordinance was adopted, so a process has to be refined. The standards are rigorous, and in order to comply with them, the original boundary was expanded, requiring the need to reach out to many more property owners and inform them what was happening, and working to get their support to meet the minimum 50% to sign the application designation, which they exceeded. Altadena Heritage works to preserve what is unique about Altadena. Long before Los Angeles County had an ordinance, Altadena Heritage worked with Los Angeles County to install neighborhood identification signs, the first of which was over 20 years ago in Janes Village. Several other neighborhoods have subsequently been designated. These neighborhood names were not well known before these signs went up. Now they are well known, and the real estate community uses them for marketing. Thank you for incorporating our letter in the correspondence, and we appreciate being part of the process.
And you'll forward us that letter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And Ginger.
My name is Ginger Loesch. I live in the area at 1752 North Mar Vista, and a house that was built in 1912. I've been the president of our home tour since 1997. And Altadena has always been included in the Historic Highlands home tours as a way to showcase our neighborhood and the unique features that are there. Many of the houses in that Altadena portion that is not even included, we have included as historically significant for our home tours. If anyone's interested, I have programs on many of the homes. But I think what's the most important is the area started to develop in 1908, and it was laid out by David McPherson, who was the engineer for the Mount Low Railroad. And he opened up his business of selling real estate and developing that section. And he named those streets after beloved railroads. And so we have the Atchison, Topeka, the Santa Fe, the Rio Grande, Boston, all the way through. Many of the names have changed since he first laid it out in 1908. Including New York, by the way, was his designation. So it really is such a historic neighborhood. And his house that was across the street from me at the corner of Atchison and Mar Vista, he was also one of the founders of Westminster Presbyterian Church. That neighborhood has so much of the history of Altadena, the railroads, the sightseeing, why people came from the East Coast. And we want to preserve that. Some people think that we went into this in 2016, trying to prevent something, but it really isn't. It's trying to keep it, and we appreciate your time.
Great, thank you very much. I did just quickly want to make one point, which is that the Land Use Committee and the Altadena Town Council, as we review these types of projects, give the most weight as we're making decisions based on the people that are immediately in the area. So we appreciate all of the public feedback. It helps us. Oh, there's another one? Oh, sorry. Is that Ruth Ramirez? I took my glasses off. Ruth Ramirez, sorry, I just got this one. My apologies. Okay, go ahead.
It's Beth Romero.
It's about what?
It's Beth Romero, not Ruth.
Oh, Beth, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Here,
My husband and I live in Catalina and New York. We have a 1908 Foursquare, and we are very much in support of this. We've lived in other historical districts in South Pass and in Pasadena, and have watched these areas that were once dilapidated homes be turned into the pride of different areas of Pasadena. We were in Orange Heights for a number of years, and we would really like to see our area preserved for many years to come, to where we can have our children enjoy the home that we have right now, and also for all the other homes in the area. Once again, it's not about trying to make something new. We're trying to keep what's already there, and keep our neighborhood just as beautiful as it is today for many years to come. So we really hope that we get your guys' support in moving forward with our landmark district. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry about the name. I couldn't read it. Okay. Okay, so as I was saying, my apologies, just real quickly, is that we ordinarily give the highest weight to the people who are immediately affected. So that's one of the reasons why I'm recommending that we have a motion that we make sure that those people are all aware of all the details. So we
Okay.
have a motion.
We have a motion and we have a second. We're going to have a vote now. All those in favor of the motion as Diane put it to us, that more research needed to be done, more due diligence needed to be done. And so I want to take a
I
vote.
can read it again if you want me to, so that we get the details.
Do we need to
in.
have it read again? No, we don't.
Okay.
Okay, so all those in favor? All those opposed? One opposed? Any abstaining? So the motion passes as presented. So we will be presenting a letter with recommendations that the process be done again.
Part of the process, yes.
Okay, part of the process. So that's the motion. And just to make sure that everyone understands, we are not against historical designations at all. We just want to make sure everybody has a chance to weigh in on it that are affected by it.
Right.
Okay?
Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome.
I'm done. Okay. Thanks very much.
Okay. All right, we're moving on to our election. And we have a special election, and our election chair is Councilmember Vega. I'm going to turn it over to you right now.
Good evening. Tonight we'll be holding a special election to seat a councilperson for Census Tract 4601 and 4603.01. We have 2 candidates for Census Tract 4601 and 3 candidates for 4603.01. Council members, you were emailed a candidate statement for each of the candidates. You also have a packet in front of you with hard copies with each, the statement for each candidate. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to make their statement. So I'm going to call up representing or running for 4601, Connor Cipolla and Allison Crawford. And then after you read your statement, if you can stay up front and if anybody has any questions.
Council members, neighbors at home, and here with us tonight. Thanks for having me. I am Connor Cipolla. I'm running for the honor of representing 4601 to this council and to serve Greater Altadena. I'm not going to read my statement verbatim. I'm going to hit some highlights here. My wife and I grew up in Sierra Madre. We had a short stint for college where I moved to Montecito, and then we came straight back to Pasadena. And then in 2017, moved here to Altadena, where we have had now 3 kids, Sophine and Micah and Ani, 5, 3, and 1. And we chose Altadena because we wanted what we had growing up in Sierra Madre. We wanted a small town where people knew each other, where we had strong community organizations, and where they would be supported and not lost, where we had fresh air and peacocks and parrots and bears knocking down our trash cans. Those are all things that we grew up with and we wanted for our kids. And so that is what truly makes Altadena beautiful and an amazing place to live, is those unique things. It's very unique in LA County, and that is what I would love to represent and to preserve for future residents. So I'm running for this council because I want to pay forward what I have received from this council. It has been a huge public benefit to many and to me to have good communication, to have timely and accurate information in our hands to make good informed decisions. And that is what our council member, Victoria Knapp, has done for us. And that is what I would like to continue to do for my neighbors. Good communication is my expertise professionally as a consultant in podcast production, print and traditional media, social media campaigns and engagement and management, audio video production for-profit marketing and nonprofit development clients. And so that is what I primarily would be bringing to this community. I've outlined a few of the issues that I think my neighbors are most concerned with, and we've heard some reports tonight about. And good communication hits all of those 3 things, of course. And that is what my understanding of the primary function of this council is, to communicate well with our neighbors, to have our ear to the ground, to listen to their concerns, to connect them to county resources and agencies, and then to report back and to liaise between the 2 and make that as frictionless as possible. And so that is what I would aim to do and bring my skills to prepare a community for the disasters and floods and fires, to make our streets safer. As someone who turns onto Halston from Altadena every single day and walks our kids down the same street, I want to make sure that that is safe, people are communicated well, that we engage with the Supervisor Barter's January 10th study, and those are some of the things that I would like to do as a council member. So I hope I can trust in your vote, and if not, you'll be well served by either of us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next up is Allison Crawford.
Good evening, council members. I'm Allison Crawford. I'm an Altadena resident for over 30 years, and I have the wonderful opportunity to live in the home that I grew up in, that my parents have provided for us. There's such a shock to my budget living in a home that is a little bit older and, keeping the weeds away and the bears, but certainly I want to be part of my census tract and share more of the value and benefit of Altadena community with people who've grown up here and who are coming back to preserve our homes and our family legacies for generations to come. I just seek to be an integral and informed and continue to be a positive influence to further immerse and engage in our local public affairs. I can certainly remember when my grandparents lived in the Meadows and Meals on Wheels didn't deliver up there, but my mother had reached out to council to find ways to get meals up to the Meadows to help our elderly families that lived up there, including my grandparents. So I'm thankful for that. I'm a proud graduate of Pasadena Public Schools and most recently served during the pandemic as our PTA Council of Pasadena president. Victoria is very well aware of that, so nice to see you again. Bridging our communication, our parent engagement, and our virtual academic resources. And one other thing that I'm very proud of is that we received a national $15,000 PTA grant to help support our families during the pandemic, which allowed our teachers to apply for grants through our PTA Council to help support the online engagement of our young people going to school. For the past 5 years, I have served children in our community as a licensed foster resource parent, and more recently as an international home parent. And that is how I continue to integrate children to learn more about our community, be part of our community, and care about our youth in care who are in our schools, in our community. My daughter is here tonight, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this without her. So thank you for your support, for sharing your mom, for sharing our home with children who need it. Through my company, Abridged Consulting Solutions, I'm solution provider for educational resources, fundraising, and strategic business engagement. I have a very diverse educational background, having studied abroad and bringing international students back into my home. Some things that I'm very passionate about are the youth in this community and seeing more of them. I know that our Girl Scout troop gets invited here to do the Pledge of Allegiance, which is great, but we have to do more to connect with our young people if we want to preserve families, our homes, our towns, the resources that we have here, learn more about city governance and legislative updates. I for one, have been a poll worker. How cool that was that to meet my neighbors as a poll worker. So I look forward to your vote of confidence and to continue to work together for the betterment of beautiful Altadena. Thank you.
Thank you. Connor, do you want to come on up? And do we have any questions from the council for the candidates?
I have a question. This would be to both of you, just recognizing from my own experience, what kind of time do you have to commit to the Altadena Town Council? And that can be that's not a loaded question. That's just a sincere inquiry.
Absolutely. Well, I have the time now because I'm not the PTA council president, and so these meetings don't interfere with that. I understand it is a 2-year time commitment and that the incumbents, their terms overlap. So I can be here on the 3rd Tuesday of the month.
Thank you.
Under normal circumstances, I'd have a little pause. Our daughter is suffering with an illness. I've taken an indefinite hiatus from my work, and we've now settled into a new normal. That's not the dominating thing going on in our house. And so I do have the time, and will have the time to serve Altadena well.
Thank you.
And then I just want to know, do you guys both know that you'd be serving on land use also? The land use meets the first
Sylvia
Tuesday.
shared that with me.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks, Sylvia. Okay.
Question? Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we'll hear from the candidates for 460301. If I can have Sanda Sea, Melissa Morona, and Daniel Morales come up, please. And we'll start with Sanda.
Thank you. Hi, good evening, council members and members of the community. My name is Sanda Sea, and I'm running for the seat representing CT 4603.01. I've been a resident of Altadena for over 10 years. We bought our house in the Floresita Farms neighborhood next to JPL, where my husband works. I'm also a lifelong resident of the San Gabriel Valley. I grew up in Pasadena and knew all about the hidden gem of Altadena with its natural beauty and diversity. I'm a proud product of the PUSD public school system. I attended Marshall Fundamental, Go Eagles. I received a quality education there that set me up for success in college and a career in STEM. I had great teachers at Marshall. Quick shout out to Mr. Sonata, Ms. Hancock, Mr. Mulfinger, Mr. Chin, Ms. Seo, and my English teacher, Ms. Kavanaugh, who sadly passed away recently. She was beloved by her students, who she devoted her life to, and her example is one of the prime reasons I have the courage and conviction to run for this position. I want to serve on the town council to contribute my skills and energy towards the betterment of Altadena in the best interest of its residents. My professional background as an engineer makes me a valuable asset to have on the team. I can assist with planning and implementation of projects and goals. As a former civil servant for the city of Los Angeles, I understand how to work with government agencies at the local, state, and federal level. I also have extensive experience with contracts, budgets, and audits, as well as code standards and regulations. I manage teams of engineers supporting critical infrastructure for the largest municipal utility in the country. This included cybersecurity and physical security of the power grid, as well as microwave communication systems that spanned across multiple states. I also have a demonstrated track record when it comes to service and leadership. In college, I was a founding member of the first student chapter of IEEE at UC Irvine. I also held elected positions in professional societies supporting underrepresented and disadvantaged students, including the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, Society of Women Engineers, and Women in Information and Computer Science, or SHIP, SWE, and WICS. At work, I was very active in my union. I served as chair of the unit representing over 1,000 engineers and IT professionals. I did so on my own time because I care about the issues affecting the union membership and communicating important information with them, just as I plan to do for everyone in my census tract. I care about the community I live in, and I've always had a desire to give back and to be of service. In high school, I volunteered at my local library and at Union Station. And last year, I joined the Community Advisory Committee, or the CAC, that was just rebooted to help as a liaison between the community and Altadena Sheriff's Station. I'm a great fit for town council because I listen, I'm thoughtful and respectful of others, and I'm willing to learn. As an engineer at heart, I want to find practical working solutions that make a difference and have a positive impact on our community. I understand the level of work expected and the responsibility it entails. I'm fully committed and available to carry out these duties and to serve my community in collaboration with Councilmember Wong and the entire town council. Thank you again for allowing me to have this opportunity.
Thank you.
Now we'll hear from Melissa Morona.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Chairwoman Jones and all of the council members. My name is Melissa Morona, and I would like to express my gratitude for having me here this evening to discuss my qualifications for the vacant seat in Census Tract 4603.1. If you would have asked me a year ago why I'd be standing up here or if I'd be standing up here, it would have been the furthest thing from my mind. But this year, we had some really hot days up in the meadows, and we had no electricity. We had power outages on the hottest days of the year, and I used my background working at the electric utility to assist my neighbors in receiving generators to assist with that power. I realized at that time, being able to use my skill set and voice to assist others is something I enjoy and I'm kind of good at. Also, I'd like to shout out Dorothy Wong for her help in that moment because, man, when Dorothy talks, things get done. A bit of background. I have been married to my husband, Jonathan, for 29 years. I am a mother to 2 grown children, and we have lived in the meadows for the past 14 years. I've also lived in the country club area of Altadena, and we started our family right here at Fair Oaks and Mariposa. I especially love our Meadows neighborhood for its diversity and true beauty, and also the deers that are in the backyard all the time. For my career, I have spent the last 20 years either working for electric utilities, doing CEQA applications to the CPUC, or in the renewable energy sector, lobbying utilities and legislators for incentives. I have extensive land use experience, as well as creating opportunities to streamline government agencies working together towards mutually benefiting results. I have led women's groups of many kinds for various schools and churches. I have volunteered to help women across the world who are stuck in sex trafficking by going on short-term trips to places like India and Thailand. And one area I'm very proud of volunteering was when a huge dispute happened in our neighborhood over one of our neighbors trying to build a home on an empty lot that nobody wanted. I led an arbitration to try to gain resolve, getting to know our neighbors and see an end to this feud. Altadena is a unique area with many neighborhoods that all need attention. What I see in the meadows throughout the next year is guidance through the electrical upgrade from the 4 to 16 kV line that's going in. I know my background in the utilities would certainly assist in this area. Further, I see the meadows in need of fire attention due to evacuations. Some other things I see are that with the climate change in our world, local actions are essential to meeting the needs of the community, and thus we can change a little at a time and create larger, meaningful change. I thank you, and I wish you best of luck on this decision.
Thank you. And Daniel Morales.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Daniel Morales, and I'm running also for Council 4603. And I wanted to ask you a question. How many of you remember what happened today 29 years ago? The Northridge earthquake. It's important for me because that was a date that made a lot of changes, not only for me, but also for many people in our life. I bought my house 3 months after the Northridge earthquake, and I moved in, it was interesting because I moved in during the Holy Week. I mean, I closed escrow on Friday, Good Friday. My first night was on Saturday, and I woke up on April 1st, which was like a resurrection day for me in my new house. I've owned a James Village for the last 29 years, and I've been very instrumental in the community pretty much out of my heart. I started when the Jam District was started a few years ago. I was part of the steering committee. I also organized, when I talked a little across the street from the church, Yvonne, which was the pastor back then, to create what we call the disaster preparedness programs because of the earthquake. And it is, to me, that's also very important because I was director for the Earthquake Business Assistance Center, which helped hundreds of businesses throughout the San Fernando Valley. And here it was not affected in this area. But it also made me understand that we in Altadena are susceptible to the 4 elements: fire, water, air, and fire for all of them. So we need to be prepared for that. I'm also a avid hiker on Cheney Trail. I was thinking about how many times I've done the Cheney Trail, probably about 2,000 times. Because I've been here 29 years, at least twice a week, times whatever, so it's quite a bit. Professionally, I've been an advocate for small businesses throughout all my life. I run my own businesses as well. I've done consulting for small businesses. I'm a director for the Small Business Development Center. And I'm used to deal with town members, politicians, chambers of commerce throughout the San Gabriel Valley, which I was director back then when I was at Mount San Antonio College. I'm also bilingual. I'm born and raised in Mexico. I have dual citizenship. So I also speak Spanish, which according to the census tract, 25% of our community is Spanish speaking at home. So I think it's also part of reaching out. So my idea is to run for the council because I want to create an economic and business development committee. I believe that in order for social justice, there has to be also economic justice. And there's a lot of small businesses, especially after the COVID pandemic, which we need to bring some resources. There are many people that work from home, that even though in our census tract there's only 2 areas, which is retail, but there's many other places basically that are, according to the census tract, there's over 680 businesses in the Altadena area. So part of my goals, as you said in the statement, is to create the Economic and Business Development Committee, as well as work together to create a disaster preparedness that we can also be part of the community. So I look forward to your vote and working together with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If we could have the 3 candidates return up here for any questions. Do you want to ask Nick the same question that you had asked the other candidates?
I have an additional question beyond that. Sand, I've got the location in general where they live. I'm curious where in the tract you live.
Yes, it's at the end of Altadena, west of Lincoln, right next door to JPL.
Sure. And then same question for you all 3. What kind of time do you have to commit to the council?
Yes, I'm available full-time to be able to commit to the town council, including meetings and beyond that, understanding that I'd be committing also to participating in land use committee.
I too have time. I have 2 grown children who are out of the house, and so other than my skiing husband racing off to Mammoth, I'm good to go. So.
I'm also semi-retired, so I do have the time to come to the meetings as well as other additional activities that might be required.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the council? Okay, you all have ballots in front of you, so if you can, we're going to vote now. Sorry, yes, have a seat. Apologies. If you all can vote, we need a majority for the winning person. Did you vote? I think we're sending it to Veronica. Majority if there are 3. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Candidates, by the way, I just need to say.
See that too.
I mean, I'm really bummed.
Can we have them all?
Crazy.
I also wanted to say that regardless of who wins the seat tonight, I do hope that the others will get involved. We always ask that of candidates that come before us. There are many ways to get involved. So we hope to see you regardless of the outcome of tonight's vote. Hang on, we've got more coming.
Okay.
Count how many people we have, make sure you have one for me.
Yeah, make sure you've got just the number of people that you have.
14.
14 should be voting.
Make it 14, shouldn't it be 15?
Are we gonna have any more elections?
Is it?
The election chair took a whole different run.
I'm going to put in a pitch that there is not a candidate tonight that I won't be reaching out to tomorrow to be on the communication committee, which I chair because I'm always actively looking for a new chair. So I'm just so impressed and so happy to see the 5 of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and in extra filler, while we're filling, I saw really the enthusiasm of our community to get involved, which is so important, for us to really look at what we care about and the sustainability and the resilience of Altadena into the future. So, and the future of Census Tract 460301.
I lost my first special election, just so you know. It was pretty close. And now I'm here, much to everyone's dismay.
Yeah, with that said, there's an election each year. So whatever happens tonight, keep in mind this coming fall.
November.
Are you running? Yeah. Got an empty seat?
Do you need to double check or are you good?
I probably need to double check.
Victoria. Oh. The library has an open.
Yeah, the library has.
How is this? So, okay, the winner is, okay. For 4601 is Connor Cipolla. Cipolla.
Is it Italian?
Okay. All right. Congratulations. And for 460301 is Melissa Marana.
All right.
Okay.
You get to come forward.
Okay, so you get to come forward and get sworn in.
And if we could have Lieutenant once again grace us with his presence.
You got this.
So do you want to keep these or give them to?
So, face you guys.
please raise your right hand. Please respond by saying "I do." Do you accept the position bestowed upon you by the voters of the Altadena and pledge to faithfully execute all duties and responsibilities bestowed upon you on behalf of the community?
I do.
Do you pledge to uphold the Altadena Town Council's bylaws and ethical standards during your term in office?
I do.
Congratulations, you are now officially members of the Altadena Town Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come sit. Come sit.
Grab a seat.
There's a seat here and a seat there.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody. I mean, it's amazing that we had so many people try out. Sometimes we're almost knocking on doors, asking people to run and to be a part of the council. But I want to let even those that did not get to come up here and sit, there's lots of room to partner with us and to be a partner. And there's going to be another election next year. So I would just really ask that you stay involved and work with us. And we're going to have lots of work coming up. It's just getting busier and busier. So, yes, Billy. Mm-hmm.
Standing committees that could also use a
Lots
lot
of
of help.
standing
From the
committees.
Education Committee, the Communication Committee, Safe Streets Committee. So find out where you can help with support one of the committees as well, especially when it maybe supports your own interest as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
The most fun.
No matter where you start at, the pay's the same. So just know that. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna move on because it's 9:02. So, yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so we have Safe Streets. Dorothy? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I was having too much fun there. Go ahead.
And thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Sylvia. This was
All
a
your
lot of
hard
work.
She's
Lot
never
of
been
hard
so
work this
happy
time.
that it's all over.
Yeah.
General?
Okay.
I was gonna
So
do
thank
that,
you,
but that's all
Sylvia.
right.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna bake you some nachos.
I'm gonna let Michelle Zach do it.
Okay, so we're gonna go Dorothy, Safe Streets, Dorothy Wong.
Thank you, Chair Jones. So thank you all for staying through this entire meeting. I'm just going to keep it short because we have a lot of work to do in Altadena related to traffic safety. On January the 10th, Supervisor Barger officially motioned the review of pedestrian and traffic safety in Altadena. And three of the highlighted issues there included recognizing the county's Vision Zero Action Plan of 2020 to aim to eliminate traffic-related fatalities on unincorporated roadways. Additionally, the rise on COVID of pedestrian deaths and injuries is a national pandemic of its own. So we have work to do here at Altadena. In the motion, it was also to evaluate traffic safety conditions on the roadway corridors of Holliston Avenue between Altadena Drive and New York Drive, and evaluate the traffic safety conditions on the roadway corridor of Fair Oaks Avenue between Loma Alta and Altadena Drive, and then to engage with the Altadena Town Council and community to discuss data trends related to traffic collisions and fatalities in the Altadena community, and to report back in 45 days. So in that time, there are going to be some meetings coming up to continue the conversation. On the 24th, which is next Tuesday at 7 o'clock, the Acona meeting will be also featuring Highway Patrol and the sheriffs and LA County Public Works. And then the overwhelming amount of comments that have been coming in through our various assortments of social media are really great comments, even if they're not these two intersections and streets. We have a lot of work to do in our community, and there are actually plans out there. The county actually has roadway projects and plans, and you guys will share more of those links. A lot of that information is on the town council website, but we're also gonna grow that information so that everybody learns how we can be safer together. And in that also, Vision Zero is a great tool More meetings are coming up, so stay involved. The Safe Streets Committee is sort of finishing this Northwest Altadena Safe Routes to Schools assessment, where we've been learning how to do walk audits and synthesize the data, traffic trends, and all of that. So tomorrow, we're actually going to be walking from Lincoln and Loma Alta at 8:30 a.m. with Public Works and the schools and the parents down towards Census Tract 460302, down Casitas to Ventura. We're going to make a stop at the Station 12 where they're having a hard time getting out of the station, Fire Station 12, and Public Works is going to be interfacing with them, so they're really excited. Anyway, we have lots of work to do, and then if anybody wants to make some comments, I just want to leave this. Elaine Kunataki is the Public Works contact, and if you have any information you want to share, if you want to get involved, you can reach out to us, the town council, your census tract, and then our Safe Streets Committee. But from Public Works, you can reach out to EKUNITAKE, that's E Kunataki, at dpw.lacounty.gov. And again, the Safe Routes to School is still a really great tool for us. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Wong, for that Safe Streets. We're gonna go to general public comment. Is there any general public comment on items not on the agenda?
Yes, I have 4 and one that was submitted to be read into the record, which I will start with, and then I'll call up the 4 if they're still here.
If you can call them
Call
up
'em
and
up
they
first?
can be ready. Yeah.
Okay, so we have, if you guys want to come up to the podium, Rex, Michelle Zach, Tom Riley, and is it Eileen Klingman? Let's see, we've got 2, 3, 4, they're all still here. Okay, so I'm going to read this quickly and then you guys can go in the order that I just called you. The recent increase to our gas bills causes major concern for us belonging to the Cinch neighborhood group. This increase has caused concern and stress for our community. We are concerned that such a large increase may not be warranted or justified. We are not asking for special programs that subsidize or issue one-time reductions in our bills. We are asking for fair pricing for our utilities. We respectfully request the Board of Supervisors to seek an explanation from the California Public Utilities Commission to what has caused SoCal Gas and Southern California Edison to make such large increases in rates. It is not acceptable to just say the cost of gas and electricity increased suddenly. Sincerely, the Cinch Neighborhood Watch Association.
Okay. I'll make sure this gets down to the supervisor's office.
You ready for me? Okay, my name is Rex Mayrice. I live up on Las Flores Drive. I'm very concerned. Oops, that's my prop and I can't hide it there. I'm very concerned about climate change, and I've joined a group called Citizens Climate Lobby, which has a lot of members up in Altadena, Pasadena. And we're trying to reach out to all communities, including the Black community, and we're participating in the Black History Parade, which will be February 18th. Second time for us to do that, and I want to invite you all to join us. We want to get attention. Climate is a huge thing that has to be addressed, and we don't want to be a downer, so we're trying to do it in a fun way. The song, "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands." I envision what we're planning to do is get as many people of all ages. We especially want to have kids and their parents marching down Fair Oaks. Actually, the parade starts in Altadena above Woodbury. You line up quite a ways up if you're near the end of the parade like we were last time. But we intend to have a lot of fun with this, and I'm going to put you through this. Here's my prop here. I want to get a bunch of people, not all having globes, but I mean, it's all about the earth that we've got to take care of, and we're going to sing. We've got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world. So I'll stop there because I see the 30-second sign, but and for other reasons too, probably. But I hope you'll consider joining us. I'm not quite sure how to get the word out. We've got a website, and my contact information is there, ccl.foothills.org. And I'll stay around to pass out cards if anybody wants one, and please join us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is that Tom? And you've got 2 minutes, Tom.
Yes, good evening.
Okay, let's,
Tom Riley, I live on Fair Oaks Avenue for the last 7, 8 years. Dorothy and I have been working together for a few years on the Traffic Safety and Mobility Committee. I've met some other town council members through some of that work. Today's paper, if you haven't seen it or look it up online, the headline is Traffic Deaths in LA Reach a 20-Year High, Outpacing the United States. So there were 160 pedestrian fatalities last year in the city of Los Angeles. And to the motion that Dorothy mentioned by Supervisor Barger, to have 2 in 2 months at the end of last year is pretty shocking here for Altadena, given the volume and the population. I was a little surprised that the town council did not put this on the agenda to kind of start getting the word out. There is the Acona meeting next week, but lacking that missed opportunity, you'll have a chance to hear about it when it's pretty much done, a couple days before the 45-day mandate. So I know some of you are already active and interested in meeting with the county officials. It's tempting on these committees to kind of try to put out a lot of fires and do everything while we've got the attention and the spotlight. But my thought is to encourage this group to focus for the motion focuses, which is on Holliston and Fair Oaks, and it's a 1.4-mile corridor combined. So there's plenty to do just on those 2 areas. And I look forward to working with you and the county officials that have already reached out to us to start the conversation. Thank you.
okay.
Michelle Zach?
Hi again. I'm here now just on behalf of our Owen Brown Gravesite Restoration Committee. Diane Markison serves with me on this committee, along with a couple of others. I wanted to announce that also on February 18th at 10:30, we're going to have have people walk up there, and there's going to be a short talk on Abraham Lincoln and his evolving ideas about abolitionism. And this is just part of, we've had many public outreach events to do with the gravesite. For those of you who haven't been up there yet, we have restored the gravesite, and the developer, Cantwell Anderson, has funded our committee. And so we're going to be moving forward on a lot of educational programs to get this story, which is as relevant today as it was in the 1850s. So we're working with teachers. We're having a film that's being made that's going to be used in our schools to make this history so that we all own it. And I hope for any of you who haven't had a chance to go up there yet, that you will either hike up, or those of you who can't or won't, or not interested in hiking up, that we've installed a beautiful plaque in Mountain View Mausoleum, and you can see it there. Thank you very much.
Michelle, can you just say where the gravesite is?
Oh, the gravesite. Everyone doesn't know where our gravesite is. You go to the top of El Prieto in the Meadows and park near the top, and you walk up through Lincoln Avenue Water Company, and then there's a sign that says, it's just a short, steep walk, but it doesn't really take longer than about 10 minutes, or maybe 15 minutes if you really stroll to get up to the gravesite, and it's marked.
Thank you.
And it's very, very beautiful, especially this time of year.
Sorry, Michelle.
10:30, Saturday morning, February 18th. And John Burton, who is our committee member, is extremely knowledgeable, and he'll be giving a short talk that will be so interesting that, and he'll be there to answer questions. He's a real Civil War scholar.
So it's 10:30 in the parking lot there, and then a hike up?
Well, I think people will just wander
Meet
up,
there
but
at
we're
10:30.
gonna, you should probably
Gotcha.
start up no later than about 10:15, and you will definitely
Okay, so you wanna
make
be
it
up
to
there.
the, it's
Okay.
at the grave site at 10:30. Thank you.
We can ask.
Thanks, Michelle. Okay, and then Eileen?
Good evening. I had a question, more so than a comment. I wanted to know, it's regarding the proposal to build a 4-story residential area on Lincoln in the corner of Figueroa. Wanted to know what the status was.
Oh, that's in my census tract. I mean, that's in my census report.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's coming up.
Oh.
You'll get the full
it
report.
is.
Yeah,
Oh,
you won't
okay.
get the full report, but you'll get some
You'll
information.
get some information.
Yeah, I was surprised I was called up because I put my email, but.
Oh, that's
Oh,
okay.
okay, okay.
Oh, yeah, we got
And
it.
I can email you more information as it comes in.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Eileen. Yep, that is it for public comment. There's no other
Okay.
public comment, okay?
Okay, great. Okay, that's great. What a good meeting. Okay.
Get to census tract reports. There you go.
Okay, but, okay, our census tract report is 4610, that's my census tract, and my report was just that they've started the 4-story building. They've started tearing down the old structure there. I saw it, the middle of last week, and I reached out to the, developer, and I haven't heard back yet, but they have started. So, it's moving forward. Okay, so we move on to and I will keep everyone abreast of what's going on, because it's important to me and everyone around there. Okay, 4613. That's you.
I have just a couple of things. One is that for the second time, I'm working on trying to make the corner of New York Drive and Altadena Drive a little safer, and I'm working with the supervisor's office this time and with Public Works to try to see if we can actually get it reconfigured. It's quite dangerous. The road, the cars coming up from New York Drive are going 50 miles an hour. So just to let everybody know, I'm working on that. Also, please, 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 please be careful if you go into Eaton Canyon. There are rock slides that are moving the water around differently. You have to, trying to get up to the waterfall, you have to go across the creek a couple of times. And as I got here tonight, Lieutenant Battee told me there were 2 people that were being rescued up there. So tonight, so please, please, please be careful. And then the only other thing is real quickly is that we will be continuing to, or we will be in touch with folks about the redoing of Washington Boulevard and Altadena Drive. They've not yet started the community meetings, but there will be community meetings. And they will be taking Washington Boulevard and parts of Altadena Drive down to the dirt and then putting it back in, which will be quite a major process. But we'll get in touch with everybody in those that are affected by those streets. And Victoria, I sent you, you saw that I'm asking.
Anish, but he
Yeah.
hasn't responded.
I know.
Okay.
He's working on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I do know that. Okay, thank you, that's all I had.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of our meeting. I just want
One more
to,
census tract, we added one.
oh, you added
460301.
one. Oh, my goodness, okay.
So mine is really quick, 460301. I learned today that SCE's upgrade from 4 kV to 16 kV will be having a meeting with the Meadows community. They'll be ready to share their plans in mid-February.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else I forgot?
No, just
No?
a motion to adjourn.
Okay, but before we adjourn, I want to ask the gentleman in the back to stand up and introduce himself.
Good evening, my name is Matt Springle. I'm the local assistant chief for the fire department. So I cover Division 3, which incorporates Gorman, Santa Clarita, Chatsworth, and all the way across here to East Altadena.
Okay.
I live in the district, I live close by, and I'm always interested in what's going on in my districts and what have you. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight, and thank you.
And thank you for being here. And we'll put you on the agenda. Okay? Okay. Okay. Not tonight.
Not tonight. A lot of times, Maria Brighton helps me out as the her that we try to reach out to everybody. So I appreciate it, and I'll be passing through every so often, and thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Madam Chair, sorry. I'm so sorry. So according to Article 12, Section E7 of our bylaws, the filing fee shall be remitted to any applicant that's not accepted to fill a vacancy. So if you guys would like your checks back, come see me when the
Or you
meeting's
can
done.
put it in the can.
And I move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Okay, the motion has been made to adjourn and seconded, and so the meeting is adjourned.
Amen.
And it's 9:21.
9:21, that's pretty good.
If they want to give the check to the can